Hey guys, welcome to my video. I'm really sorry I haven't posted any video for a long time now. I've actually been quite busy with commissions and leveling up my art so I can make better content for you guys. Anyway, in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing some digital art tips for beginners. I must say that these tips aren't exactly for beginners, they're for everyone. If you're just starting out or you've been here for some time, you're an intermediate artist and all, you can learn something from these tips. I guarantee you. These are tips that I've learned over my time of being an artist and I will sharing with you. So without further delay, let's jump right in. Tip number one: study from reference. Yes, reference. I over the course of my art journey, I've met a lot of artists, young artists starting out, and they're like, "Hey, I want to make good art. Hey, I want to make good art. Where do I start from? How do I start painting? How do I do all that stuff?" And then I'm like, study from reference. And then there's a lot of bad advice going on in the art community, and then some people feel like if you draw from reference you aren't a real artist. You see a lot of posts, you see a lot of dirty talk. They just tell you you're not good because you're studying from reference, you're not a real artist. Real artists come up with your own stuff. Well, the thing is, nothing in this life is really genuine. Like it's the first. Most of these things are actually replicas and get inspiration from other things. We all know Leonardo da Vinci, right? Leonardo da Vinci, the guy who painted the Mona Lisa. Let's take that for instance. Do you think that Leonardo painted the Mona Lisa from his imagination? No, he didn't. There was a live model in front of him. So even the greatest artists, they had something they drew their inspiration from. You don't just do stuff out of nothing, except you are Kim Jong-ji. Anyway, but you see, you have to understand that while coming up, why most of all these experienced artists are able to draw from their head, just draw without looking at anything else, is they actually have something they're looking at, but it's actually in their brain. So when you study from reference, you're building up your visual library. So when the time comes, you don't really need the reference, the physical reference anymore. You can just, draw from what you've already observed. So when you study from reference, you're building up your observation skills. Oh, I see a face every day. I've seen people. Each day I can see like 500 people, and of course I know how to draw a face. You try drawing a face, and then you discover that you didn't quite get it right. You thought you knew it, but you don't. So you study from reference to erase that part of you that thinks you know it and change that to the part of you that actually knows it. So you're doing yourself real harm if you aren't starting from reference. You need to study from reference. Do photo studies. Check out your favorite artists, your favorite big artists. Most of them use photo references. Some of them might not say it, but in the process of their workflow, they eventually use photo references. Like if you're drawing something and you don't know what it looks like, you're not sure, please, I beg you, do not draw from imagination if you're just starting out. Trust me, get something close, get a reference. Even if you can't find something online, take a picture. Even if it's your hand you're trying to draw, we all know how difficult hands are. I'm still struggling with this, I know, but you just have to take a picture and look at it, observe. When you start studying from references, trust me, you'll begin to see the world differently. The observation skills will like skyrocket a lot. Andrew Price, I don't know if you know him, Blender Guru, he was saying some things, and he was like, a lot of young artists post up and like, "Hey guys, I just created this new painting and I need some critiques." And then you see that a lot of people don't respond because if I saw a post on, say, Facebook, and it's like, okay, these young artists is like, okay, I want critiques. I just painted this portrait. Help me, find what's wrong. My first, response to that, if I must reply, is, Where's your reference? And that's where the issue comes from. If you have a reference and you have something you painted, you don't really need to get a professional. You don't need to get Kim Jong-ji or, Lop or any of those great artists to come and look at your work and sit down and brood over it. No, you don't. You just need your reference. Take your painting and place it on top of your reference. And with that, you'd have solved a lot of problems. Like, trust me, you'd have solved all your problems. No, or most of your problems. Like, okay, so, I made a mistake. Oh, the eye is placed wrongly. Oh, I see that shadow is placed wrongly. And you'll be able to solve most of your problems that way. Tip number 2, which is get critiques. All right, handle critiquing properly. All right, so one time on our art community, there was this guy who he made a new drawing. He drew this. I don't know if he was trying to draw Hulk or this really muscular guy, and then he posted and he was like, "Hey guys, I just painted this new painting, or should I say drawing?" And they were like, cool, where's your reference? And then he was like, we asked him, did you use reference? And he was like, no, I didn't use reference. And they were like, dude, where's your reference? And then he was like, I don't need a reference, it looks perfect. And they were like, no bro, it's not perfect. He drew this muscular guy with like, I don't know, like 8 or 10 or 12 pack abs. Like, the guy was really ab-full. He had so many abs and it was weird, trust me. And then he didn't see a problem with it because he believed he had drawn something perfect. But if he had a reference, he would look at his drawing and like, oh yeah, people don't have 12 packs. People have less than that. So you would make mistakes if you have this. And you know what happened? The guy, he got angry that everyone was like, trying to critique his work, and he left the group. It was just sad. I don't know where he is right now, but I hope he's fine. But the thing is, I see a lot of beginners asking for critique, but when you give them critique, they just really defend themselves. You see someone saying, oh, it's intentional. What intentional? You made a guy have 12 packs intentionally. That doesn't even work. I'm not sure you know what you're doing. That kind of thing. A lot of beginners actually, they don't really know what critique means. I know it's really hard having to work on something, for hours, some work on stuff for days, and then someone just comes and like destroys everything, breaks it down to the ground, steps on it. There's what we call constructive criticism. All right, I know some people are actually douchebags out there who they don't really have anything to say about your work to improve it, but this work is trash. That's not critique. Guys, stay away from those kind of people. I'm saying critique from people who actually like, okay, this work is nice. However, you could improve it by doing this thing or that thing or these things. Critiquing, constructive criticism, it's in the name, for the purpose of constructing, not for the purpose of hurting you. Nobody wants to hurt you, except some people. Stay away from those people, by the way. But get critiques from people who can give you critique. All right, so, and that's the thing. Even the negative guys, they might not say the best things, but they might have a point or two. So take what you need and leave the rest. Don't get hurt. All right, your art is it's you. It's awesome. So don't let anyone says hurt you. Okay, get critiques from the right people. Learn how to accept critique. And and another point is, if you're not asked to critique a work, don't critique it. Please don't. It's annoying. I know I had that problem where any art I saw, then I would just be like, oh, you need to work on this. This isn't good enough. You need to do this. You need to do that. And then I realized I was wrong. So now I only talk when I'm asked to, which everyone should learn. Please and please stop asking what brushes anyone uses and just use what you have. It's not really about the brushes. It's never about the brushes. You can make art with texture brushes. You can make art with the default brushes, with a simple hard edge brush and an airbrush. You can make art with any brush you want. Trust me. So don't fuss about brushes anymore. I see a lot of beginners, they just see a great work and they're like, hey, what brush did you use? No, no, please do not. Don't worry about the brushes. The brushes only help, further give a certain style or a certain feel or a certain texture to a piece, and they don't really matter. They don't really help you in how good you are, how your anatomy is. There are no anatomy brushes. Are there? I don't know. But at the end, it comes down to you, your brain, and how much you've studied and how much you've built yourself up, how much mileage you've gathered and all. So it's not really about whether you use Photoshop or you use an iPad or you use a big Cintiq or you use a small tablet or whatever. It's not really about the tools. In the end, it's really about you. What you can do with your pen and your paper, you can still do it with your iPad Pro or your Cintiq or your simple, device, Android device. Simple. It's not really about the tools, okay? Please don't worry about the tools and start worrying about your fundamentals. All right, studying other artists. I want to share with you the Dunning-Kruger curve. It's a curve that every artist, should I, because I'm speaking about artists now, undergoes. When you're starting out, you feel so motivated, like, oh, I'm the best in the world. I can do the best art. I can make the best art. But then when you go on Instagram or ArtStation and you just see people who shatter your hopes and dreams, and then you get all depressed and you're like, oh, can I really do this? Can I really do this? And then with time you realize that you aren't as good as you thought, and then you begin to learn, and then the curve begins to go upwards, and then you finally get to the point where you actually know and you are actually kind of good enough. The point is, please, when you're starting out, you need to study other artists. Don't ever stop being competitive. I was once like this, where I felt like if I wasn't better than everyone else, then I wasn't going to be happy. The fact that other people are making good art doesn't make you less of a good artist. You just need to make yourself good. That's it. So don't stop yourself from learning from other artists. I have a lot of artists I really look up to. I feel they're like super great, and if you want, I can share with you some of my favorite artists, and I'm learning so much from them. I wouldn't have become who I am without learning a thing or two from them. So you'll be doing yourself a lot of harm if you think you can stand on your own. So study from other artists, and you'll get better with time. Study from, don't, oh yeah, I must mention, don't just study from the popular artists. Study from artists you can actually learn stuff from. And how do you know that? You know. You know. Trust me. There are a bunch of artists who don't have the million followers that the other artists have, but they have great content you could actually learn from. And I advise you to follow them. And don't just stalk one artist and try to imitate that person, and or you would end up being a cheap imitation of that person. You need to study a bunch of artists, and your art style will eventually come out eventually. All right, this video is getting really long. I really wanted to share so much with you guys, but I can't. So yeah, so with this, we've come to the end of the video. I hope I have enough footage filmed for this one. Yeah, so please, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Yeah, this is a new channel and I would really appreciate your support. So I hope I'll be able to post another video probably another tips video, or maybe a more deeper insight to my painting process. Other than that, please let me know what you think of this video in the comments and what you want to see in future videos. Peace.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, and frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks say quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow.